What's going on, everybody? This is Wednesday, January 20th. We're coming at you live for another episode of the Tall and Short of It podcast. My name is Justin.
And I'm Aaron. Welcome back, everyone. It's good to see you all. Well, good for you all to see us, I guess. But
yeah, hope you've had a good week. Aaron, tell me what's going on, man.
Pretty decent week, I guess. A little bit of a mix up with my work, so I was bounced around to some different properties we have to cover for people who are out sick. So that kept me busy, but otherwise, everything was, I don't know. It was weird. I recently have had some difficulty with like really drilling down and focusing on specific projects I have at work.
Okay.
And I don't know, a couple days ago, I was just like able to get really like focused on stuff and like really start digging in and getting stuff knocked out off my list, which is good. But it was weird. The motivation had kind of been waning a bit, and all of a sudden I just got a new boost. So that was good. Made my week go pretty well. So.
Now, do you find that those moments of productivity kind of go in waves? Like, do you feel like up and down with it, or how does it tend to feel?
It's weird. It's like, I've noticed that when I'm like actively doing stuff, working with people and things like that, that typically I don't need much motivation because I just enjoy working with people. It's more so when I have projects at work that are like, I'm doing lots of research and it's this like long process that I'm going through and everything, that I have trouble with maintaining that same like level of energy and motivation throughout. And also I feel like I got a couple things like checked off my list that had been stressing me a little bit at work. And so I think that left me maybe with some extra mental energy to focus and not feel like I was spread as thin.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. No, I know the feeling. Now, when we were talking before we turned the cameras on, you were talking about getting your real estate license. Now that really interests me because I'm not sure I've heard you talk about that before. Is that kind of like a new avenue you're headed down? Is that that's kind of like your get out plan, it sounds like then, right?
Thinking about it, I don't know. I'm like okay where I'm at right now for the meantime. Like
Okay.
I don't want to do anything that's like crazy and just jump ship. Like most of the jobs I've had, I've only been for maybe a year and a half to 2 years, and I'm kind of getting towards that point with this job. So I'm not like actively feel like I need to leave or anything. Like I'm pretty comfortable with my coworkers and like the things that I do for work. But the real estate license, I've had a few different people mention it to me. Being my parents, some different friends. I think you had mentioned it to me as well when we were talking and kind of thought that might be something that would pique my curiosity. But I've actually started like looking at kind of programs and stuff like that I could do to, you have to get a certain number of, or there are 2 courses for Pennsylvania that you have to complete with like a credited, university, college, training, whatever, to be able to take the real estate exam. So I started the other day looking into that just to see what it would take. It's like 75 hours of class time and everything. And so,
oh wow, that's not terrible at all.
No, not at all. So it's something I could easily knock out with like just weekends, do an hour here or there during the week, that kind of thing. Because they have courses that you actually have to like show up to, and it's taught like normal classes with a professor kind of deal.
Right.
But they also have like some self-paced courses that you can do where all of the information's like online and you're just going through it, completing, documenting like your hours and everything. So I'm leaning more towards that just because I think it would fit my schedule better.
Right.
But yeah, overall, it's not too much of a like time commitment or anything like that to be able to study up and take the exam. So
Well, that's really cool. I know our buddy Kyle, who, if you were listening to last week's episode, which you can find on Anchor and YouTube, by the way, if you're listening to last week's episode, we were talking about the forest. Kyle recently just got his real estate license.
gotcha.
So that's just it's intriguing in the way that it's popping up multiple times now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm curious if he'd have any words of wisdom for you, anything good that he can offer you as far as like pointing you in the right direction. Because he already did it. But yeah, that's super cool. I'm happy to hear that you're taking the steps forward, because I know we've had conversations about, not sure if it's the right career path, not sure if you want to be where you are, these kind of things. So yeah, I'm happy that you're, putting your best foot forward there.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I find like I was talking with one of my friends and I was like, we are just talking about life and everything. And I kind of, it clicked that I'm like, well, if I keep sitting here and like talking about it or thinking about it, not actively like even like putting in the effort to look into options and things like that and get an idea of what, because it's like I thought it would be more expensive than it is. It's really not crazy expensive either. So I felt like I needed to just kind of dip my toes in, and then it would be easier to kind of take the steps to look at it. And I think if I do get my real estate license, I'll probably want to just start out as like doing it on the side, kind of see how it goes. I don't,
Right.
not necessarily just jump and hope that I catch myself, but
Yeah, that'd be pretty rough. Go from like steady income, paycheck every 2 weeks to, I hope I sell this house or I'll starve.
yeah, I don't want to be in that spot, but that
Yeah, that'd
also
probably be
will
pretty rough.
give me a good idea of whether or not I enjoy it or not. And
Right.
also, while there's a pandemic going on, it can't really like what else am I doing on my weekends? Like,
That's very true. You might as well learn something, kind of thing.
there's no F1. I'm like just trying to be relatively productive citizen, you know.
Right. That's funny. Oh, what'd you do over the F1 winter break? Well, I got my real estate license. I couldn't watch any racing. It's like a funny thing. Like most people say, I put on 30 pounds. Like, well, I went and learned something. I think
I've
that's
been doing good with
worthwhile.
that too. I dropped a couple pounds over the past like couple weeks. I got
There
back
you
to the
go.
gym on Sunday, which was a little weird, but
Mm.
yeah, I mean,
He's like,
everyone's wearing masks. I have like
huffing and puffing.
I have a mask that I only wear for the gym. It has like interchangeable carbon filter thing in the front, so yeah, when I'm gonna be at the gym, I'm like, I'm not just gonna use my normal cloth mask. I'm gonna go all out and make sure that I
Yeah.
don't get this thing.
What,
So
like full? I'm picturing like a full Bane, like,
it's kind of hold on,
dude, you're just there like pumping weights, like.
I gotta see if I can find it.
You've merely adopted the gym. I was born in it.
Basically, it's got
Oh,
like
hell yeah.
it's serious business. It's got the
Oh,
filter.
yeah, that's sick. No one can say this guy ain't safe.
Makes me look like a huge dork at the gym.
Dude, if anything, it look like the person that people would just stay the fuck away from, right? Just get your workout in and get out of there.
Hey, that works for me. This is want people to stay away. So
right. Well, dude, I was laughing where Noel was talking about how the perception in public is like, well, everybody's got their mask on, so you distance and you don't say anything, just like a wave, and you keep moving. I'm pretty sure he was talking about it in the context of like letting his dog out or something, where now people don't feel the need to come up to him and things like that. And that is a happy benefit of all of this is, like the more introverted, stay the fuck away from me kind of people are just like, oh yeah, I'm in heaven,
Oh, it's awesome because I'm like, I'm an introverted extrovert. Like I need my time, but I love working with people. I love talking to people, but there's some times where I'm just like, yeah, I need everyone to leave me alone. And that's fine.
Yeah.
So
no, that's
like,
sweet.
I may keep wearing a mask to the grocery store even after this thing, just because then people like not talk to me.
I mean,
maybe like back
that's
up
a great strategy. Yeah, they'll just see you like, oh, this guy's one of them.
Yep.
Whatever one of them is, I don't know.
I don't know. It's I guess it's the opposite of the people who refuse to wear masks to go into grocery stores. I like
the maskers, yeah.
I would be a masker.
I'm not an anti-masker. I'm a masker.
Exactly.
I believe in the mask. Well, good. I'm glad you're getting to the gym. I'm glad you're pumping that iron. Now what are you focusing on? Are you trying to put muscle on? You going for definition, doing cardio? What are we working on?
So a little bit of a mix. I wanted to drop a couple of pounds first because I'd gained a little bit of weight during quarantine. Not a ton, but maybe like 5-10 pounds. So trying to get back down to like what I would like my base weight to be. So doing like 30-minute walk on the treadmill to start out at like a 12% incline, going like pretty quickly. That apparently works well for burning some calories. It doesn't put the pounding on like my knees that running would do and everything.
Right.
And then just like general full body. I actually have my body's so messed up, man. Like I think I told you, but do you remember last year when I was trying to train, or I guess it was a year and a half ago or so, I was trying to train for the Philly Marathon in a month?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think I've just realized that my body like just doesn't handle things very well, because I had that where my knees went out on me and died, and I broke my collarbone, all this stuff. And right now I have a like my abs got fucked up somehow. Like they have like a larger separation in the middle of the abs, like the two pieces of they like kind of spread a little bit. So I'm having to like do only particular core exercises to try and like reduce that. It's apparently something that typically only happens in pregnant women. So I don't know, man.
What?
Yeah.
Are you pregnant?
I am not pregnant. I can
wait.
Can
okay,
confirm.
So you're concerned about like the gap in between the gap in between your abs. You're saying that got larger, and you're concerned?
Yeah. Well, so
it doesn't look right.
No,
do you have body dysmorphia?
No, it's not even that it doesn't look right. So like,
do you see fat where there is skinny though?
No, but what happens?
I'm sorry. Continue.
What happens is like when I can't do like crunches right now, because when I do crunches, because the abs are like spread apart, it's just like right down the middle.
Okay.
So like not in between like up and down each muscle group. But when I like do crunches, because it moves like your organs and your abdomen and everything, they start to like bulge through that space in the middle. And like it almost looks like in Alien, the little aliens like popping out of the people's chests.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah. So
that doesn't sound healthy.
It's not. It's that's what I'm saying. It's something that like apparently mostly happens in pregnant women, because like as their belly gets bigger with the baby, it like spreads out the muscle.
Okay.
So Yeah, so I'm trying to do all the exercises that are supposed to fix that.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Going into the
dude.
PT's office. Hey, can you give me those good pregnant lady stretches?
Well, I tried to look it up, like what it's called, and I found it, and then everything that I'm looking for like how to fix it is just like the first whole paragraph of the web page is like, well, typically in pregnant women. I'm like, come on, man, give me a break. Like, like what am I supposed to
That's
do?
brutal. Like making it feel like it shouldn't be happening to you.
Oh,
Like it's not
absolutely.
allowed to. That's
Exactly.
so funny, man. Oh God, I'm
Just
sorry.
unintentionally just making fun of me.
Damn. Typically in pregnant women. There
It's
you
rough,
go.
man.
Damn. Okay. So you're working on tighten that up.
Well, I think like with losing a little bit of weight, like most of the first place that my like if I gain weight, it shows is like my belly. Essentially,
Mhm.
that's just where it goes on my body. So
Right.
I think if I can like lose some of those pounds, then it will be easier for me to fix.
Gotcha.
It's such a ridiculous thing.
Dude,
I like so many so I have only one of my pectoral muscles. So I
wait, what do you
forget
mean?
I was
Did
born with
they
no, I was born without one of my pectoral muscles. It's called Poland syndrome. It affects like 1 in 10,000 males or something like
what?
that. Yeah.
Which pec? Your pec major?
Yeah, my pec major. I
Your
have
whole pec major didn't ever form.
yeah, it's just not there. On my right side. I have the upper pectoral where it connects to my shoulder.
Right.
So like I was able to like play baseball, throw, do things. I can pick things up.
But you
But
don't
yeah,
have that lower bundle.
from like here down, nothing. It's just ribs.
What?
I'm blowing your mind right now.
Dude, I've never heard of something like that.
Yeah, I had no idea what it was either for a long time.
That's so
Um,
crazy. You know, if I ever had a client come in and tell me that they were missing a muscle just straight up, I would say, get the fuck out of here. I'm not working on
well,
you.
the first gym I went to,
That's
like a
so
public
funny.
gym, was down in when I was living down in the DC area. So I went to this gym and they had it was like a year-long sign-up thing, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to go to the gym consistently." They're
For
like, "Yeah."
365 days.
Well, it was
There
like
you go.
they sold it to you as they want to make sure that you're committed to your health and everything.
No, they
And
just want to
so
get a lot of money out of you up front.
exactly,
Oh,
exactly. So
Jesus.
I like signed up for it, but with it, it included one free like hour-long session with like a personal trainer kind of thing. And so
They
I
want you
had
to
to,
sign up for 365 days and give you an hour with a trainer.
yeah,
You
well,
got to do the rest on your own, homie.
oh no, that's how it was. And you could you could pay additional for more
Right.
sessions.
Right. Right. If you blow
So
the owner of the gym and 5,000 a day and you got to provide your own whey protein. Right. I
it was
gotcha.
wild. It was
Crazy.
yeah. After that year, I quit the gym and canceled my membership and just got a Planet Fitness card. And I went way more to Planet Fitness and paid like I don't even know, like a quarter of what I paid for the other gym.
Dude, that is brutal. I've never heard of such crazy onboarding.
Oh yeah, but when I had the personal trainer session and everything, I had to be like, well, when I bench press, my right side's a little lopsided because I'm only using my triceps on that side.
Right.
So, yeah. It's
Damn.
I'm going to send you this link for that you can look at. So it's 1 in 20,000 people are born with Poland syndrome.
Wow.
And it's twice as frequent in men than women, because that would be way worse, I think, for a woman. So I think it's easier on me.
Well, what's crazy is I think it would actually cause significant issues.
I think a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah, the breast would probably drop down significantly. Whoa, dude, that's wild.
Yeah. So what we're learning is that I have a fucked up body. So
Yeah. Wow. And I was just about to ask about the oh, excuse me, I'm yawning. I was just about to ask about the yeah, about the collar break too, if that was like
yeah.
affecting it.
It maybe slightly. Like
Hmm.
I can feel it with some things I do. Like if I do push-ups, I can kind of feel something, but it's not like painful or anything. It's like it's fully healed, but I can feel that it's like not quite the same as
Right.
it was.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's overall hasn't affected me. But
That was my heart on the day that my dad left. I can feel it's still there, but it's just not quite the same, you know?
exactly,
Not quite the same.
it's a an apt comparison.
Yeah, dude. That's how it is. Muscles and dads, they're the same thing.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
But no, dude, I'm glad to hear that you're persevering despite the differences that God gave you, you know? That's
It's
just
life.
his test for you.
Yeah. It used to like bother me a lot, but it like I've kind of moved past that. It's
Pain
like,
wise, or you felt like you were less of a
no, I
person?
just felt like I didn't like feeling different. Like I would have not in
Can you
like
imagine if you
a
were born black, dude? Damn.
not like that. Like
I don't want to be different.
no. That was probably not the best comparison, but I think less able to do certain things, like especially with like lifting and working out and things like that.
Right.
I would have like who knows? Maybe I could have gone on to be like a power lifter or something, but I'll never get there now.
You'll never know. You'll never know. Dude,
But
can you imagine if Lewis Hamilton had Poland syndrome? He goes for his super license and they're like, "No, sorry, you don't have a pectoral major. You can't race."
well, it wasn't going to affect me like when I was applying to the Naval Academy for college and everything. I didn't care.
Did you get a scholarship for it?
No, I did not. That would have been nice though.
You should have looked. Poland syndrome scholarships.
Scholarships.
Yeah.
Hey, 1 in 20,000 people. The odds were in my favor.
Yeah, they were. Dude, I met motherfuckers in college that they were like, yeah, they gave me money because I'm left-handed. Or like, yeah, they gave me money because I was born in Illinois or whatever. It's like, Jesus.
See, that's the good kind of different.
That's the good kind of different, yeah. Holy
Uh,
shit, that's funny.
yeah. But no, also I mean the way it looks is definitely different in that sense too. So like if I'm out like when I was first like starting to work out and when I was first starting to lift and everything and had gained a little bit of muscle, it started like making it very like noticeable, which I was like, oh, that's weird, but is what it is.
So it's not, so you have it, so you have the right one, but not your left one?
No, I have my left one, but not my right one.
Gotcha.
And I'm right-handed.
Gotcha. Okay.
So.
That's funny. I'm curious if anyone ever saw it, if it was like, holy shit, he uses that arm a lot.
Or, I was thinking more like if people notice it's missing, people being like, oh, like what happened to him? That kind of thing. Like
no, they wouldn't even know the difference. Just like, oh my God, what's he doing at night? Just going to town on that thing. Holy shit. It's so strong.
Yeah, I don't think I hope I didn't run into any of that. I don't know.
Holy shit. Little do you know you've actually lost friends before in life because they're like, I think he just whacks off so much.
Well, so guys, if Justin decides to cancel the pod, it's because he stopped being my friend.
Yeah.
Because I'm missing a pectoral muscle.
All my friends have all their muscles.
Yeah. It's I forget. I had to mention it when I had massages done too. So I like they ask you about all the or when I've gone places they've given me they're for more not like your kind of massage therapy, more just like the what
Yeah,
I
they just
don't
ask
the
you like, is
other
there anything I should know?
yeah,
Yeah.
I prefer to tell people that because I don't want anyone to get freaked out.
Well, dude, yeah, because they'd be like doing their thing, and then they get to your pec and be like, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
But and you'll know the guys that aren't worth their salt if they don't say anything. You
if
know,
they
they're
just
just
like
like,
go around,
yeah, like,
just
this feels odd. I don't know what this is. I'm just gonna fuck it on to the next thing.
that would be a little concerning.
It
I would say.
very, yeah, I would say never pay that guy.
Yeah. Well, and speak, I do definitely want to get back and get a massage sometime before too long. I feel like that would be nice.
It's good
Get my
stuff, man.
seriously. I mean, every massage I've had has been well, it's like made me like the most relaxed I've been in months. I feel just like everything a weight off my shoulders and
There you go.
so I have
You're
to
you're one of the clients that we would like to see.
what because I just like
Well,
would
because you enjoy it, yeah. Some
okay.
people come in and you can tell this like sometimes there's an air of like, why am I here kind of thing, and it's like
Got it.
you called me, you
Yeah.
know. But
You
yeah,
didn't like drag him off the street and like I'm giving you a massage. Just,
I'm pretty sure they call that something else nowadays.
oh, yeah, I would say that probably has a different name.
They call it the Bill Cosby treatment.
Yikes,
Brutal.
that is
Anyway,
rough. But I guess speaking of massage and everything, how has your week been? How's life? How's the business treating you?
it's going pretty well. I think well, I think I made some headway with a client tonight. We had some things. The session went similar to how it's gone the last couple of weeks. However, we gained a couple of new pieces of key information that I think now going into the next session, we will have made some better progress towards the issue than we've
Gotcha.
been making on it historically.
Okay.
So I think that's going to be a big boon. I have a couple of new clients that I've been working with on some like neck and shoulder stuff that is going pretty well. But I have to tell you, man, these sessions are taking a lot out of me. Like I've been pretty tired the last like week and a half or so.
Yeah.
And I think it's due to the like I would say like the high intensity nature of the massages, just in the
Okay.
sense that like I have to be totally present. Like on yeah, just like on the whole
Yeah.
time, right?
So, do you find that it's more of like a mental fatigue that you're feeling tired, or
Oh
it's not
yeah.
like it's not physical really, where you're just like, I'm giving more massages, so my hands are like
No.
cramping or whatever?
No, it's nothing like that. I mean, I can there's some physical stuff to it too, you know, just like stiffness in the wrists or forearms or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, it's totally a mental fatigue. You hit it where it's like even like right when I'm done the session, so we don't have like an auxiliary room within our room. I just leave the
Mhm.
room and then knock on the door and then come back in.
Gotcha.
But when I'm done the session, I have my client take a deep breath in all the way out, and I have like my hands on their back for like some compressions, and then I do like a dust of the energy, they call it. And
Okay.
then I say, take your time hopping up, open the door when you're ready. When I walk out that door at the end of the session, depending on what kind of session it's just been, and it's been more of these like somebody coming to me with an actual problem And then on top of that, not only is it an actual problem, but I know that it's going to be painful to be worked on.
Gotcha.
Right? So they're not going to be comfortable at all.
Yeah. Like
So
they may feel a little better afterwards, but while you're working on it, it's just like loosening up like really stiff and sore spots. So you're just digging in on it.
Right. And not just like stiff and sore, like damaged muscle tissue. Right. So it's not going to feel good at all, but it's in the spirit of correction, right? We're trying to reestablish some normalcy to the structure of the bones.
Gotcha.
When I walk out of those sessions, I just feel like I just want to let it go, because it feels like I'm like so aware of what is happening in their body, their breath, what they're saying, how things are moving, what the tissue feels like. Just like it's so much sensory stuff going on that when I'm done, I'm like, whew, that was a lot, right?
Yeah.
To be honest, it feels like the same kind of concentration that I get into when playing the F1 game on the racing wheel, because like you're so focused on
just that thing,
right? On just that thing. And because like I'm trying not to hurt somebody, if I move them the wrong way, it's gonna buckle, and then the whole thing's just it's fucked. Then the session's done. Once they're like out of the relaxation, they think I'm gonna hurt them. They're pulling away from me. We can't have that, right? So I say all of that to say I've been having more of those sessions, more of those clients are calling where we're not just chit-chatting for 60 minutes with my hands on them. I have some clients like that. I have some sessions like that. Some, but more often than not, I'm doing these sessions that are like high intensity. I know I'm causing them discomfort, so we're trying to mitigate that. Are they okay? Drink water, ice this, like just all sorts of these, like I would call it high level massage therapy, and not for me, for my client, right? A lot of times I'm having to give them congratulations and say, good job, you did it. That's all you. I didn't do anything, because I know it's them that's like doing the actual work of just getting, for lack of a better term, like beat up on the table, So having said all of that, it's a blessing, because that's the kind of work I want to be doing, because I really don't feel good unless I help somebody.
Yeah.
And so with that, I feel like the work is really rewarding. But yeah, this last week and a half, man, I've been feeling it, because like just it feels like every session, every client, I have to be. It feels like I'm performing heart surgery. It really does, honestly. But yeah, we've been getting some great results, like great results. So I can't complain. That's just where it's at.
That's great, man. I wonder, so I don't know how much, like, you can't necessarily divulge, obviously, certain things, but like, do you find there are certain causes that are bringing a lot of people to you? Like, is it a lot of things like car accidents and like different things like that? Or like, I'm kind of just curious in general, like what would lead someone to get like a prescribed, essentially going to a massage therapist to have work done?
A lot of times what we'll find is it's a combination of like stress level. So the actual amount of cortisol present in somebody's body factors in a good amount.
Okay.
And then you combine that with somebody who has ignored an issue because it hasn't hurt enough, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
And then they wake up one day and their whole arm is numb, right?
That's wild.
And not only that, not only is it numb, but it won't wake up. Remember,
oh yeah,
Any morning you've ever woken up with a numb arm, you shake it out a little bit and it's fine. You can go eat your cereal.
Yeah.
These people, they never get feeling back. And they're just like, what the fuck is wrong? And then they come to you or they go to their friend and they say, look, I've got this issue. I need help, right? And then that's how you get to me. Ignoring an issue for so long that now it's like actually a difficult problem to work through.
Yeah.
But we also have to take that into consideration with, like I said, high amounts of cortisol in their life. So the clients that I'm thinking about are people with high intensity jobs, high intensity lives, or they do something that you would classify as like repetitive motion.
Okay.
That is causing the same muscles to be put in this pattern of never getting a break.
Gotcha.
So when those muscles can never get a break, other parts of the body have to start helping it. And then that's when you run into some serious issues, because it's not just like a damaged couple of fingers. Now the whole hand and forearm has to be worked on because of like whatever the fuck happened, right?
Gotcha.
But it's a lot of that is ignoring the precipitating event, dealing with the symptoms, and then just like letting it go too long, right?
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's wild. I mean, I could definitely see myself being one of those people too. Like I tried, if I don't feel like I would say for the most part, I can tell between whether something is like hurt or if it's injured.
Right.
Like I can tell if I'm sore from like working out or whatever, and then I can also tell if something's like really not okay.
Right.
I feel like I can decipher that pretty well, but I could imagine myself being in a spot where I think something is just like hurting, but it's actually like more severe. I just didn't know.
Well, and that's a great point that you make, because we do run into that too. Like one of the questions I ask my clients is, especially if they're new clients to me, if I've never met you before, one of the questions I'm going to ask is, what would you rate your activity level as? And also, are you familiar with chiropractic, PT, massage therapy? Like, how much do you know about this stuff? Because what we find is people who are active, who've done sports, who have some kind of just like thing that they're involved with, we find an increased body awareness, right? What you're talking about is body awareness, where you have engaged with your own system enough times that you actually trust the feedback that your own body gives you, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
That doesn't happen with everybody. Some people's bodies lie to them. Some people lie to their bodies, right? So what happens in those scenarios is we find individuals who don't necessarily know that their bodies were that damaged, or they were doing this improperly, or they let it go too long, because they've never been in a position where they've had to actively check in with themselves, right? They never had to worry about stretching themselves out for 15 minutes before a cross country race. They don't know what it is to limber up, stretch out, do a jog before they go hit the gym. They don't have these kinds of, we'll just call it like physical IQ. They don't have a physical IQ of their own body to know what the messages mean. It's not that they're not getting the messages, they just aren't sure how to interpret them. But somebody like me and you, right? We've learned some body awareness. We have some physical IQ.
Yeah.
Some of that has to be learned, like through massage. And I'll ask people, oh, what does that feel like? Are you feeling any discomfort anywhere else? As I stretch here, what exactly are you feeling? They'll be like, oh, I'm actually noticing, like, okay, that's good information, right?
Gotcha.
So it's a bit of actually learning to trust the messages that your body's giving you.
Okay.
One of the things I tell my client is, look, listen to your body. If you're stretching and it's uncomfortable, stop. Even though I've said do it 5 times, you got through 3 and it's uncomfortable, stop. Listen to your body, right?
Yeah.
There's an element of that in it that it might be understated sometimes, because therapists can only do as good of a job as the client can, like, help, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm
If you
asking,
don't know what,
go
yeah.
ahead. Yeah, you were
If
about
you
to hit
don't
it.
know what is like the actual issue or what they're feeling, because like you can't read their mind, you can
Exactly.
maybe deduce a little bit from how they react to you touching certain spots or whatever. But yeah, without their feedback, you have no idea how to actually treat them and work on
Right.
them.
Right.
So
And that's where cases like the client that I had tonight, that's where cases like this get me so happy, because you end up asking the exact right question, right?
mm,
The exact right question, or you have this little interaction, or there's moments in massage where you get this sense that you and the client are, like, you are on the same page, same paragraph, same line, same word,
mm.
right? Obviously, we're not reading, but you get the
Well, yeah,
metaphor,
I
right?
gotcha.
Like,
Yeah.
we are very in tune, and there are moments where, when you're in sync like that and something happens, maybe it was something different, maybe it was something new, maybe it was some different quality of discomfort or whatever, but in those moments, that is when you're going to find answers.
Gotcha.
When you and the client are working in a back and forth teamwork manner, not like uh, uh, I've heard therapists describe themselves as, like, body mechanics, and, like, yeah, yeah. Think
Hey,
about it. It's bad. It's bad. Really
that's
bad.
that kind of worries me.
Yeah, yeah. It's corny. Oh man, there's so many hacks in my industry. But yeah, they call themselves body mechanics, and they'll say, like, "Oh, I fixed your frozen shoulder," or "I did this," and "Oh, I'll get you." Uh, uh.
Yeah.
Rarely do I do anything. A lot of times it's up to the client, to be fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've just been we're getting great results, and it's due to the clients, because they're the ones that have to deal with, my fucking fingers in there, whatever,
Yeah.
fucking jabbing at them. But yeah, man, it's been going well, but for every blessing, there's an equal and opposite, struggle, and a lot
Feel
of
you.
times that's just yeah, I guess it boils down to just, like, empathy. I know what I'm doing
Mm.
to these people. I hope I'm helping, but at the end of the day, yeah, sometimes it just can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of success at work here recently. So yeah, it's going pretty well. There's your little massage 101 for you.
Hey, now maybe the people out there listening, if they have to go in, get a massage, maybe they'll have a little bit more understanding about what they need to do in terms of communication and whatnot. It's
Dude, it's
important.
huge. That's a great point. That's a great point, because it is huge. Because yeah, we're not mind readers.
Yeah.
Maybe as a client, you'll get lucky and get a therapist like me, but not all the time.
Yeah.
I can read minds, but they can't. I'm just kidding.
Hey, you
I
never
did have a
know.
client this week say that when I'm working on her neck and shoulders, she pictures that I'm, like, talking to her muscles. She says, I can
Pretty cool.
picture you listening to my muscles and figuring out what's wrong. And I was like, that's exactly where I want to be.
Yeah, that's definitely got to be a good feeling
Yeah, it was a
for.
pretty good compliment, I have to say.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Well, I know we now that we've talked for a bit caught up on life and everything. I know we had a couple things we wanted to run through today, but
Yeah, take us into it.
But yeah, we don't have, unfortunately, too much news in the world of F1. There was one announcement that came out right after last week's episode, which was that Charles Leclerc came down with the COVID. So hopefully he is on his way back. I haven't really seen many update posts, but it was only less than a week ago, so he's probably still feeling pretty rough.
Riddle me this, okay?
Hmm.
So Lewis Hamilton caught COVID, right?
Yep.
Lando Norris.
Yep.
Charles Leclerc.
Yep.
Romain Grosjean burned his hands.
Well, and then Checo, I think, had COVID earlier in the season too, because I think that's why Hülkenberg came in. And I forget if did Lance Stroll have it, because I can't remember if Lance had that or if he had something else.
But the question I'm getting at is, why is it just the drivers? Do you think these orgs, like, wouldn't that mean that there had to be other individuals in those paddocks that were sick? Like, why are we just hearing about the drivers?
I think
is what I'm getting at.
I think that there were other like team, like I think sometimes you would hear with the announcements during the season, at least they'd be like, oh, like, and I just checked, Lance Stroll did also have COVID, so that's like almost half the grid had it.
Yeah, seriously, like just low key, they were all sick.
Yeah, but I think if I'm remembering correctly, I think with some of the announcements, they would be like, the driver and a couple of personnel who had close contact with them are in self-quarantine or whatever kind of deal. But I heard about it a couple of times, but I don't remember if it was like every time. But yeah, I do kind of wonder how many other people, like how many positive COVID tests were there across the board throughout the season.
Well, like that's kind of what I'm getting at, where like how much are organizations like, oh, okay, well, like we'll say this one, but these other 5, they don't have to know about that. You know what I mean?
And I think in a lot of cases, like the people who would have potentially gotten it along with the driver may not be like the personnel that you would see in the pit lane on a race day. It may be their personal trainer who's helping them with like whatever their workouts, getting in shape, or maybe it's their like one of their pit. I'm blanking on the name.
Engineer.
Pit, yeah, their chief engineer for them or whatever, who they're talking closely with about like plans for the upcoming race and yada yada yada. So that would probably be noticed if your chief engineer was out as well. But some of those other people probably are a little more behind the scenes that you wouldn't realize.
That makes sense.
So
yeah, it's just kind of weird. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just a shyster and this is what I would do. But like, it seems like as an org, I would rather say 6 of my garage people caught COVID than my one Lando Norris.
Yeah.
And maybe that's thinking too much about image. Maybe the image is more important of like being upfront and saying like, oh, you know, but yeah, there's just something about like your superstar driver,
face of the company kind of deal.
Yeah, it seems there just seems like something off about like, well, yeah, he had COVID and he took straight to social media and he apologized and he's so, you know, it's just like, is that really what we want to be doing?
I mean, most of the announcements I've seen are just like, oh, they got it. Like, get well soon, bud.
Right.
We'll get him next time, champ.
Can you imagine driving the fastest vehicles in the world and somebody calling you sport or champ? Like, come on, Dad. I'm not fucking 12 anymore.
That would be hilarious, honestly.
Can you imagine fucking Christmas dinner at the Hamiltons? Ah, pass the peas there, sport. And Lewis with his fucking, I don't know, $1 billion watch is just like, okay, Gramps, here.
I feel like,
oh man, Lewis Hamilton sleeping in his car bed at his parents over the holidays. Oh, come on.
oh, that was good. I'm imagine. I instantly started imagining Lewis Hamilton like tucked into a little race car bed. I wonder. Hey, that's something I
with
wonder.
the Mercedes onesie on.
Do you think that was that just an American thing?
I have no idea. Probably.
I wonder if other countries had weird, like, shaped beds like that. Like,
dude, I don't know.
Some of our international viewers might be like, "What are you talking about?" And so, for any of you that don't know, like in America, a lot of kids like race cars and will get like Hot Wheels car toys and stuff like that as a kid, and then they'll like get a race car bed. It's like a plastic race car
like a
shell
frame
that you just like drop the mattress into.
Dude, do you remember in Grandma's Boy where Nick Swartzen's character, he has the main character sleep over. They go into Nick Swartzen's bedroom. He's a grown-ass man. He has a car bed. And he says, yeah, my parents are getting me a CB radio for my birthday so I can talk to all the other car beds. I'm like, fucking hell. That was the best joke in that whole movie.
That's a great line.
Dude, I was dying.
I don't think I've seen the whole movie, actually. I don't know if I've... Yeah, that might be one that I have to check out.
That's a stoner classic, dude.
That's a great joke, though.
To be fair, like Dazed and Confused and Fast Times at Ridgemont High, I know we're kind of like the stoner movies of like a generation back, right? And like Dazed and Confused, like those kind of films.
Right.
Grandma's Boy is where it started for me. Like that was quintessential. Like anytime we had a sleepover, anytime we were smoking weed behind our parents' back, we were watching Grandma's Boy. We were like, go smoking inside. It was like so funny.
What about the was Pineapple Express out at that point yet? Or that might have been a little bit later?
Yeah, it was a couple years after.
Okay.
I want to see, because that was when...
Because I feel like that's another one that's kind of that that style of movie. The stoner
very
classic.
much so. So Pineapple Express was 2008. Let me just see what... Grandma's Boy was 2006. So yeah, right around that same time.
But like you said, a couple of years.
Fucking hell. Damn, I didn't know. I'm just looking here on YouTube. I didn't know Judd Apatow was a producer on Pineapple Express. That makes sense. That dude, he's prolific, man.
I wouldn't have just been able to name that he was one of the producers on it, or the producer for it, but I feel like I knew that from This Is the End. Because I think they mention it at something about Judd Apatow at some point in that movie, because it's like Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, James Franco, all those guys. So it would make sense.
Well, that was an interesting movie, because it was like, what if we made a whole movie with like 3 main characters and 1 million cameos?
It was wild. The cameos with like Kevin Hart and Rihanna and like Michael Cera is still
fucking
like,
Hermione was in that movie too.
Yeah,
dude,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, she had the scene with the shovel where she was like gonna go beat face.
Emma Watson.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah,
she was in it. The Michael Cera little cameo at the start of the movie, though, is probably my favorite cameo of the entire
because he was kind of playing his Superbad character, right?
Kind of. He's like in like doing drugs in the bathroom, and then like
that's right,
when he's everyone's outside the house and the sinkhole starts happening, he gets jacked up by that light post, and he's
That's
like,
right.
it's like,
That's
where's
right.
my phone? And it's in his pocket the whole time. Like, that's seems like it could be a Michael Cera thing.
Oh man. That's so funny.
And just on the topic of Michael Cera, I think the best description I've ever heard of Michael Cera is that, like, the reason that he's gotten into movies and things like that, just his first one, he just like stumbled accidentally into an audition. And this is not true. This is just like
Gotcha.
what I'm imagining, and what from the way someone described it. And they said he would probably have been like too awkward to be like, oh no, I'm in the wrong place. So he just went along with it and got a role. And then
Dude,
just
that's
like
gold.
was too awkward and weird to ever be able to be like, I'm not an actor. Like, just continually getting cast again and again into these like awkward kid roles, like in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And
he just has this like, yeah, I was supposed to be a chef and they just gave me this fucking movie and now I'm just in movies. Like,
now people just keep calling me and I can't say no.
Oh my god,
he's like
that's
too
actually
deep in
gold.
the lie.
That's so funny. Where like originally he didn't have the heart to tell them like, no, I was just getting groceries. I didn't mean to be here. Yo, that's funny.
I was just delivering food to this guy in the building and I went into the wrong spot.
That's our Scott Pilgrim right there. Say that line again.
Exactly.
Like,
that's
no, it wasn't a line. Fuck, damn.
Kind of my image of Michael Cera whenever I think about him, because he is this just like goofy kind of awkward dude, but hilarious.
That's probably pretty close. That's Superbad was a good one.
That is a solid movie. There's a lot of good classics like that.
Yeah, well, that was kind of a golden age of comedies.
Yeah.
But again, though, you have Seth Rogen and James Franco involved in all of those.
That's true. Like, well, I think James Franco is just like really an intelligent person. I think he's like really good at writing and coming up with just funny ideas. Like,
sure, and just artistic in general.
I think he might be funnier in general than like Seth Rogen or any of them are, but he just like articulates it differently through like writing stuff out for other people.
Interesting.
That's the way I see it, because like the guy's definitely got a pretty high intellect. He's like smart dude.
Well, and they wrote and made The Interview together, which I thought that was fucking hilarious. Like,
it was great, except for thinking that there might get nukes set off from North Korea because he was mad. But otherwise,
right. Well, I think that's just the Hollywood ego.
Movie, though.
but it kind of is, right?
Well, yeah.
It kind of is. Like, they thought they could create something so like absurd that a world leader had to pay attention, right? I think that's just a bit of the Hollywood ego. But I mean, and I will say to that point, the farther away you get from that event, the less funny that movie is, right?
Oh, 100%.
Like, that's not that great in 100 years.
Yeah, and I'm not really going to go out of my way to go back and watch it even now.
Right.
But
it was a timely, funny movie. Right.
Yeah. Just won't age well. It just is what
plenty
it is.
Plenty of things don't age well.
Exactly. And I think that's something that they almost intended it not to age well. So like it was
that's a good point.
Taking advantage of the time period, and they knew it wasn't going to be like that forever. So just
right.
Why not?
Damn, I missed out on a good my mother joke. Most things don't age well. Look at my mother. That's fucked up. But yeah, that's fuck. It's hard to think of them separately. Like, as far as like a comedy duo, it's hard to think of Seth and James.
Yeah.
Separately, you know.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they've been in so much together. They've like written a lot together. They seem like they're probably actually friends outside of their working relationship.
Right.
So yeah, it definitely is a little hard to kind of separate them.
Here's a question for you. Going to one of our maybe lesser talked about topics. Did you ever see I guess you would call it an interview conversation with Seth Rogen and Tyler the Creator?
I've not.
I think it was when Flower Boy came out.
Okay.
Like a couple of months after Flower Boy came out, Seth Rogen sat down and interviewed Tyler about just like artistry, how he came up with the idea, like influences, all that kind of stuff. And it was an incredibly thoughtful conversation. And the way they shot it, they were just like chilling on the couch, right? And it looks like they turned the camera on like when they saw they had something, right? They felt like they were a couple minutes into it and then like the camera turns on, right?
Okay.
It's I think it's from a couple years back, obviously, like I said, when Flower Boy came out.
Yeah.
But it is awesome. And to hear like Tyler the Creator's mind and the way he thinks about things, it was just very insightful. And I think from somebody who is good. So they're both great at the thing that they do, and to hear them kind of collaborate and meet in the middle was pretty cool.
That sounds cool. Like being able to kind of understand each other's artistic side, even though their fields are different.
Exactly. Like Seth doesn't write hip hop music, but they were definitely jiving. You know,
Yeah.
it was cool.
That's interesting. I'll have to check that out. See if I can find it. I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
Yeah, man. It's good stuff. But that's my movie tangent. How did we get here? We were talking about COVID and drivers.
Yes.
That's how we got there.
Yep.
Great.
So but yeah, so we had Charles Leclerc that got COVID.
So funny. Seth Rogen and Tyler the Creator. And back to the COVID report.
But but also Alpine announced that they have a new racing director. So they got a racing director from Suzuki in MotoGP. So the motorcycle racing, which is also if you get a chance to watch any of that, that is wild.
I get knee fear.
It's like kind of terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Dude, but they're like literally like,
oh yeah,
sideways.
The crashes in that. Like I thought some of the F1 crashes are bad, and the F1 crashes can be bad, but some of the MotoGP crashes I've seen are, ugh.
Now, what's that format like, and what are the courses?
So it's pretty similar to like F1. Like they'll race on Silverstone. They have races kind of throughout, and it's very similar format. I think there's more teams in MotoGP.
Okay.
But they have
do they have multiple drivers per squad though?
Yeah, it's 2 drivers per team.
I like that.
You also can have one weird thing about it, you can have like multiple motorcycles that you use during the same race, I think. So so
it's like an endurance race.
Well, I think it's still pretty similar in terms of length to F1, but like I think they like even if you crash out, like I think you can still like hop on a new bike and get going again. But like I think you have to like run back to like your pit to like
grab it. That feels very video gamey, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of funky. But I've seen that like happen after some like different crashes that I've seen watching like videos of old races and highlights and stuff
right.
like that.
Dude, that's wicked cool.
Yeah, but they have 11 teams.
11 teams, how many drivers per team?
2 per team. So they've got like
do 22 drivers race at a time? or
Yep.
are the qualifiers different?
No, 22 at a time.
Huh.
So
Damn.
they've got Red Bull, Honda, Ducati, Monster Energy, Yamaha, Petronas, Yamaha, Team Suzuki, and a few others that I don't know the companies. I think they're
Now,
European companies.
Patronus is one of the Mercedes sponsors, right?
Yeah, the motorcycle.
What exactly are they? Like, what does Patronus do? Are they like a
Patronus?
petrol company?
I think they are. Patronus is a Malaysian oil and gas company. Yep.
Damn. Do you see that? Context clues.
Yep. And the symbol is like a drop. It's, I guess, supposed to be a drop of oil kind of thing.
Gotcha. It's a drop of my.
I think I'm gonna have to mark on the YouTube video that this is not suitable for children.
Oh damn! Holy shit! Explicit content. Get the parental advisory sticker. Holy shit!
Seriously, come on, man.
That's funny.
But yeah, so Alpine, they found their new race director. So I can imagine it won't be too crazy of a transition for him, since he's used to the same like format, style, team, and everything. Just moving to cars instead of motorcycles. Checo had his first day with Red Bull, so that's interesting, I guess. I'm more excited just to see how that goes once the season starts. I'm not really there's really not much that I can say right now about it.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know enough about the sport yet, or the drivers, or really I don't feel I know enough to make any like predictions, right? Like, oh well, Max usually starts to pick up the pace 3/4 of the way through the season. And Checo, he'll get race 1 and 2, but I have no like historical data to like.
Well, and I think this is a big year because there are so few driver lineups. Like, I feel like typically there are a decent bit of carryover with at least a few teams having the same driver lineup. But this year, I mean, you're seeing changes in Ferrari, Mercedes, or not Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull, AlphaTauri, Renault.
Org changes.
Racing Point, like it. The only teams that I think didn't make any changes are Williams, Alfa Romeo, and Mercedes. I think that's it. I think every other team either swapped drivers around, brought up rookies.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anyone that I'm missing, but I think that 7 of the 10 teams are having new drivers lineups. I don't think that's a common thing. So I think in that sense, we won't even know how these guys are going to do. Like, Checo's never been on a top title contention team. So who knows how he's going to do in the new car.
That's a great point.
Who knows how that relationship will be, because Max has, since Daniel Ricciardo left, has only had these like young up and coming drivers. Checo's a seasoned driver coming into the new car and everything.
Right.
So I think there's just a lot of unknowns. So making predictions in general is not gonna, I don't think, easy for anyone.
Yeah, it just seems tough. Like, well, chew on this. Tell me what you think, because this may have changed my thinking. I believe it was in one of CY Motorsports videos. Shout out to that guy. He said the choice for a driver teammate might be the toughest choice that an org makes, because you're not necessarily picking a teammate for the driver, you're picking that driver's greatest competitor on the grid, because we talk about all the time about, the Ferraris were together, the Red Bulls were together, this and that, because they have the exact same car that you do. So if you're in 15th and they're able to get P3 every race, well, it's probably the driver, right? It's not the vehicle,
Right, exactly.
right? And that was actually revelatory for me. I was like, fuck, like that's such a good point.
Well, that's like something that they'll sometimes mention, like in the broadcast, you'll hear them refer to people as their rival,
right?
And things like that. But even in like the F1 game, so like you can pick a rival, like someone that you want to be like compared against and everything throughout. But the first one, at least in the games I've played, the first person that they always set you up as your first rival is your teammate. Like that's kind of the first person that I think for all drivers, like that's their goal, is to beat the other driver in the car and be like, hey, like even if you're in a bottom team like Williams or Haas or something like that, like if you're consistently outperforming the other driver in the squad, like you're less likely to get replaced, at least.
Right.
Less likely, not guaranteed in the sense of
and then it creates smaller races, right? Because there's a certain element where if you're starting P17, your chances of catching Lewis are probably pretty slim, right?
Your race is like the 6 spots ahead of you to try and get in the points. Like you're just trying to,
Exactly. So then it creates like, you're not trying to race Lewis every time. You just have to look to your right and say, I just have to beat that guy, or I just got to get into the points, right? That's a very different way of thinking than I was maybe originally formulating about it. Cause you're like, oh, look at Lando and, Carlos, like, oh, they look like such good buddies off the grid, and oh, look at them joking back and forth. When in reality,
and I think you can still be like that,
right?
But still, like when the helmet goes on,
I want to see you overtake him.
Yeah.
It was just very interesting.
That's like some of the frustration that you'll see with drivers when, like, there were times when Daniel Ricciardo was behind Esteban Ocon, and he's like, hey, I'm the faster car right now. Make this guy let me through, so I can go chase the next guy. And like you get team orders, like having you let your teammate through and stuff like that. And there are instances where the drivers refuse to do it. There was one, I think it was last year, or I guess 2 seasons ago now in 2019, where Sebastian Vettel was ahead of Charles Leclerc, and they were like, hey, Seb, let him through. He's got quicker pace right now. Seb was like, he can pass me. He's like, I'm not letting up. He's like, if he has better pace, then he should pass me.
Right. Like he's not just gonna hit the brake.
No, he's like, I'm not getting out of the way and letting him through. He's like, I'm just, hey, if he's faster, he can go for it.
What a great line from Seb. He can pass me then. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, no, he was not having it.
Did you know, and this may be a first, did you know that driver's orders were outlawed by the FIA for a while?
I did not, actually.
You weren't allowed to do it. There were some scenarios created on track that made it like very distasteful as a team to be doing team orders like that. And I forget what the historical precedent was, but I believe it was same team. This guy was winning the championship. This guy wasn't. So they had the guy that was going to win the championship pass, and the FIA did not take too kindly to that. They were like, That's not in the spirit of racing.
Well, I think there were also some similar things with, and I don't know if this contributed to that at all. I don't know if there's any relation, but back when I was watching some old races from like the 90s and 2000s, I forget what year it was, but they had recently just introduced the blue flag for back markers.
Right.
And so there were times where maybe like someone had gotten a puncture or something, and this guy's teammate is like he's pretty far back, and it's a race for first and second. The guy lets his teammate through, but then races hard against the other guy instead of letting them through. So to like try and slow him up and give your teammate some more space out.
Oh, that's brutal.
In front and everything. And so I think from teams doing that and like back markers kind of intentionally trying to hold up the other guy, that's why they introduced the blue, or I think it's blue.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah, the blue flags for if you're a back marker, so if you're being lapped.
Everybody knows you gotta let this guy pass.
Yeah, and I think if you
is crazy.
I think if you get 2 blue flags, and then if you get a third one and you still haven't like let the person through, like you get like a 5-second penalty or something like that.
Damn.
Because they're like, if a slower car is just like blocking things up, it's like a danger too in some sense.
Right. Yeah, cars going too slow on the track is dangerous.
Yeah, it's a primary.
Yeah, you got to be at speed. Yeah. Holy fuck, dude. That makes me think of, you talking about that makes me think of the like goon squads in hockey.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear about that kind of stuff?
Well, there were always like in older hockey, probably I think it was like pre-07 or so, because they made some rules changes, but teams oftentimes had like an enforcer that was like your fight guy.
Yeah.
Just send them out. If someone on the other team does something that you don't like, next time that guy's on the ice, your enforcer's coming out to either deck them or fight them.
What a brutal strategy. Like, dude, you're not good at hockey. You're just good with jabs.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
no.
Crazy, bro.
And there's so many players like that over the history of the NHL, because I love hockey. I've been watching since I was a kid, but there's so many players that were just like known, like, I think of them and I'm like, that guy's a scumbag. Like he wasn't like, he's just a goon. Like Ty Domi for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hated that guy.
That's a familiar name to me. Yeah.
The Flyers. I mean, the Flyers had Donald Brashear for a while.
Yep.
It was like,
my mom used to talk about that guy all the time.
He would just destroy people in fights. It was wild. Like, giant dude, like jacked big guy,
couldn't even skate.
He was slow, but that's
all he had to get over to the motherfucker.
But that's kind of what made some of the changes. I forget what rules changes affected it, but there were some rules changes that they made that like kind of encouraged teams to have like faster skating and better like those kinds of skills. So it kind of pushed the fighting to the wayside a little bit. And
you just couldn't waste the roster slot.
Right. And also a little bit with like, they don't want as much fighting in hockey anymore, which is kind of lame. I think it's part of the sport. So
I think it speaks to the capability for sportsmanship that we have, to where these guys can go out and annihilate each other over some like whatever high stick or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But then you come back game 3, they'll shake hands. You come back game 4, they'll shake hands. Yeah, they might, get elbows up or whatever they say. But yeah, I think it goes to just like, it is just a game. Tempers can fly, but when the puck drops at the next thing, we're just competitors again. And I think that's like actually a key thing to have in a sport where something tells me that if you take that away, it becomes less. There's almost like a responsibility that those players have above other individuals in other sports, in the sense that they know they're getting the box. They know they're getting the box if they drop those gloves, but it's respected within the culture that, all right, this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna shove each other. Some guys getting dropped, but we go to our sides and then we'll keep on playing. I think there's something very powerful about that in professional sports.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
It's kind of weird because hockey is like the only sport I can really think of that has that. I feel like in most other sports there ends up being like grudges that are held. And like, for instance, one that I think could be similar to like fighting in hockey is pitchers in baseball who hit the batter.
They'll nail a batter
because the guy was being an asshole.
Right.
So like hit the guy.
That'll go for games.
But yeah, they'll drag that out for forever. Hockey, It's like at the end of the game, it's like there's like some sort of at least mutual respect.
Right. The fight gives them an outlet for the negative emotion.
Right.
Right. You can't, like, your coach isn't going to be like, hey, Ichiro, just calm down. Right. Like, that's not going to happen. He wants to throw some bows. Right. So I think I think that's a beautiful point where you said it drags out over a series or a couple games or whatever. I think that's a bit like toxic.
Yeah, well, I think it might be because in other sports you can't really like reciprocate the interaction. Like you can't, if you get hit by a pitcher, you can't pick up. Oh, jeez, slung my microphone there. You can't just like pick up the ball and just like beam it back at the pitcher.
Dude, that is just dodgeball, man.
Yeah. So, and like if in the NFL, if like someone makes a dirty hit or something like that, like there's some pushing and shoving maybe, but it's not that the same. There, I feel like with hockey, it's just that one-on-one. You both have a chance to get your shots in, and then you're like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, the way they do it seems perfectly reasonable too. Like, we let it go until somebody hits the ground and then we break it up. Like that.
It's fair
enough to me. Yeah. Like I can dig that.
Yeah.
But yeah. That when I was first learning about those goon players and the enforcers, as they called them, I was like, what, are you serious? It's like, that might be the coolest role ever.
Their job is just to fight people.
Yeah, they don't care how good you are at hockey. Holy shit. Yeah, man.
It's kind of crazy. But definitely a cool aspect of hockey.
Yo, but then at the same time, it's funny because then we talk about, do you remember that kid who slung the front fender at that karting event?
Oh yeah.
Like, but we're like, with racing, hands off, keep it on the track.
That's a little different though. It would be like
different.
It would be like if in a fight in hockey, the guy the one guy drops his glove and the other guy just like takes his stick and just like swings it. Like that's the comparison, I think, to like throwing a fender from onto the track where go-karts are going like 80, 90 miles an hour.
Oh yeah.
That's the way I see that. That's
that video could have went so much worse if somebody hit that fender.
Oh yeah, like it could have been bad.
I can't believe that kid's dad just like ran out
and just like
fuck, man,
owns the track and also helped fight the other kid.
It seemed like the dad was even angrier about it. He came from so far away and just laid that kid out.
He lined him up.
He was like a minotaur, bro. He just fucking put him into the wall. That was crazy. All right. Now, the tall and short of it podcast does not condone violence. It was just entertaining.
It was wild.
Yeah.
It's like watching Maury or like Jerry Springer.
Fight, 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 fight. Dude, my favorite part is like, wait, Jenny, you said you would break down if you ever saw this man again? Well, guess what? Bring out Michael. We have him right here. And she's like,
like, do they expect? Have you never watched this show before?
Dude, I know. Like they were just there to get just like quality professional help.
Yeah,
like no, come on.
As if Maury or Jerry Springer are like actual like therapists that you're like, yes, I'm going to my therapy with Jerry.
Brutal. How much do you think it costs to be on that show, or do you think it was free?
No, I think it's free. I think so. That's like the thing with like judge shows and things like that. So judge shows, like you could take a person to like real small claims court, or you could go like, from what I understand, people will a lot of times go on like judge TV shows when they know that the defendant doesn't have the money to pay them back if they actually won the court case, because they have like a $5,000 maximum on those shows. I'm pretty sure for like what court cases they'll take. But from what I understand, the show actually pays like whatever the $3,500 that Judge Judy says you owe. So like
shit,
the person who's like suing the other person gets the benefit of knowing, hey, if I win this case on Judge Judy, I'll at least get money. Or like at the cost of like my personal life being exploited on daytime television.
Right. But it's actually an insurance policy of like, I want this person to be punished and I actually want to get paid.
Yeah, I think that like from
that's
things that I've seen, I'm pretty sure that that's how like most of those shows work.
I believe it.
Like, Maury and Jerry Springer, like I don't know what the reasoning for that would be, but I feel like there's got to be some sort of like something enticing to go on there and get made look like a crazy person.
I'll tell you this. I could have my suicide plan for a Friday. I'm telling you, rope hung, note written, chair in place. I could have my suicide pre-planned, and you could not get me on one of those shows. Like I cannot imagine.
No. I'm not someone who typically likes being in like in the spotlight of anything, which is weird, obviously, since we're doing a podcast, but at the same time,
that kind of spotlight.
This is like very conversational. It's like we're just chatting, hanging out. That is like you're sitting there with a studio audience, like just getting judged by all these people, and any kid who's sick and had to say stay home from school.
Every 7th grader with a cough.
Yeah.
Fight.
But no, you could not pay me to go on something like that.
Yeah, no shot. Like you could not give me enough money to go on something like that. That is insane, bro.
Yeah, it would be a steep price.
Right.
And like the only thing I would have in the back of my mind is like there's crazy people on this show every day, so it's going to be hard for people to remember me specifically. I'd still be worried about that even if they were paying me a boatload of money.
I know, right? Like you don't get a call back for like some job or whatever and you're like, they must have seen my Jerry episode.
Oh no, that would be awful. Just always in the back of your mind if something just like doesn't go in your favor, you're like, shouldn't have gone on Jerry.
A girl doesn't call you back. She must have seen my Jerry episode. Fuck. It's like the background check that always comes up negative, or like, what would you say? The background check that always comes up positive.
Yeah.
Have they been on Jerry Springer? Yes, they have. We don't want that.
It's a question on the actual application.
Have you ever been on Jerry Springer? It's like, ooh, sorry.
It's like someone who has like really bad Minecraft videos, you know?
Oh, fuck. Dude, no. That's okay. What's not okay is putting it on your resume like they were good Minecraft videos, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm a YouTube creator. I'm a well-loved YouTube creator. Like, dude, you have 100 likes. What?
Exactly.
And then they just think you're a liar. Or some like narcissistic weirdo, like, dude, have you seen his videos? They're trash. You know, like
they're like getting prepared for the interview and they're like, huh, YouTube link, click. Just like you put a hyperlink in your online resume. Check me out.
They call you 10 minutes before you're supposed to show up, like, yeah, I don't think we have to do this anymore. Bye.
Well, so I've already added this podcast on my resume, so I guess we'll see how that goes.
Oh, you too? Sweet. Okay, cool. Just as long as I'm not the only one.
Exactly.
I may be still stealing a comedian's joke here, but do you ever think about how this is going to be like outdated soon? It kind of already is outdated.
No, I forget where I saw it. I saw a video. It might have been on Twitter, but they were like comparing like millennials and like children now.
Right.
They're like asking them like, so like if I was like, hey, pretend you're talking on the phone, what would you do? Yeah, exactly. But if you ask like a 7-year-old now, like to act like they're talking on the phone, they go like this. Because it's like you're holding,
right.
Like they don't. Wow. They're not used to the whole hang up like old school phones.
I honestly thought you were gonna do like out in front of you like this because it seems like FaceTiming. Yeah, it's super popular. I see a lot of people doing that.
Yeah, it's my favorite whenever people are doing it in public. Like I was waiting in line at the wine. No, I'm dead serious. It's so funny. I was waiting in the line at the Wine and Spirits like maybe a month or two ago. And this guy, like everyone's got their masks on. And this guy right in front of me has his mask like hanging off to the side. He's FaceTiming and he doesn't have headphones. Like he's got it on speakerphone. Man. So it's not just he's making a call on speakerphone in the line surrounded by other people.
Right.
But he's like FaceTiming on speaker and like talking loudly. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm just in your business now. Like I'm not talking, but I guess it is what it is.
Fuck, man. And you just start wondering like, wait, what do you owe Dinah all that money for? Did you go to your dad's funeral? Have you gotten the bread, sir?
Exactly.
These are all questions I don't need to be asking, bro.
Not the grocery store line.
Yeah. Put your fucking headphones in. God damn, that's so crazy.
But it cracks me up because whenever I see it, like it doesn't bother me. I'm just like, it's like kind of entertainment for me.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. Well, do you remember the classic, like before they were like really popular? I'm actually not sure if they were ever popular. I think we skipped past it a little bit. Okay. Was the like the Bluetooth thing in your ear where you would just see somebody like doing this and talking and yada yada, and you're like, are you talking to me? And then they're like, oh no, I have my Bluetooth in. It's like, oh, okay.
Like my parents had that for driving, but they wouldn't like just wear it around in public like some people would.
That's
like,
good.
They would have it for like hands-free driving. They actually handed down one of them to me when I would be driving. Like I didn't really use it. Sorry, mom and dad. But they like gave me an old one that they had because they were like, you talk on the phone while you're driving a bunch, because it was when I lived in DC and I was
gotcha. So you were just back and forth
for work. Anytime I was driving up to Philly, I would be like potentially on the phone with people for an hour, 2 hours on the drive, whatever, just to catch up with people while I'm going. And so my parents were like, it's not safe for you to be driving without one of these. Here, we have this old one. I was like, all right. But
you know what always got me, and I think you kind of alluded to this, the phone conversation after class or the phone conversation on the way to your car from the grocery store. It's 200 feet. And you see people pick up the phone, get on the phone. Yeah, I'm just leaving. I'm just walking out to the car now. Okay, I'll see ya.
Yep. 20-second conversation. See, I can't have those conversations with most people. Pretty much anyone I talk to on the phone, it's like extended conversation. So
Gotcha. So
I
like your
can't,
grandma, your mom.
dad, even like if it's my sibling, like I don't really have short phone conversations. So I
Mm,
like you won't see me doing the grocery store 50 feet call.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. I would think less of you if you would do that.
You won't catch me doing that. Don't
I
worry.
would say be comfortable, silent in your own brain. Just be alone for 5 seconds. That's what I think. Learn to be alone. That's what I think.
That's
Here's a
what
question for you, though.
go for it.
How often do you talk to your siblings?
Frequently. We have a
Mm,
like not on the phone a lot, but we have a group text that we have going between me, my sister, my brother, and my sister-in-law. And so we'll
gotcha.
like just throw random stuff in there. I made homemade pizza the other week, so I like made the dough myself and everything. And
Epic.
I forget if I talked about that at all.
I don't
But
think so.
but yeah, I like made the dough, did like had it sit in the fridge overnight. But my sister-in-law like has become a very like good baker through quarantine. Like she makes all
Mm,
different kinds of breads,
that's sick.
like baked goods, everything, whole nine, and they're really good. Um, but I was like, oh, I gotta send a picture of like this dough and it like just stupid things that are going on. It'll get us talking about like what's going on with each other and everything, especially
Gotcha.
now while we can't really see each other hang out at all.
Yeah, that's
So
true. Now I was just curious, man. It's not something that me and my sister do. So whenever I hear about it, it always sounds like characters from a movie. Like, whoa,
yeah,
you talk to your siblings?
it's kind of weird because I am less inclined, I think, than most of my family to like have phone calls and things like that. Like when I would be in college and stuff, like I had to make a concerted effort to like remember to call my parents and like let them know how things are going and whatnot.
And not just on the times when you needed money.
Right. And
Right.
so for me, like I would see some people that are like best friends with like their whole family and everything. I love my family, but I don't have that kind of like
Right.
thing. So I'm like kind of, I guess, more in the middle of the spectrum. You're on the one end. I'm like kind of towards the middle. And then there's some people that are like best friends for life with every member of their family and call
Right.
their Aunt Judy every Saturday afternoon and uh,
Crazy.
check in and see how things are going. It's
Well,
not,
I had a client to the other end of the spectrum where I know I know a couple members of her family, and the way they all talk is they're all informed. They're all up to date all the time.
not my,
And I asked my one client, I was like, "How much are you talking to your mom?" And she says, "Every day." And I said, "Okay." You know, I
yeah,
what fair enough, whatever works for them. But it just makes me think how shitty of a person I am. I haven't talked to the last time I saw my mom, I was literally giving her one of those because she came into my office without a mask on at the exact same time saying that somebody she was in contact with just lost their sight of smell and taste.
yeah, no,
I was immediately like, "Get the fuck out of here, mom!"
yeah.
Yeah,
That
that was the last I heard from her. I haven't seen her since. I don't know. Is she still alive? Is she sick? Who knows?
I
But
feel
yeah,
like that's something you might have been informed about if that were the case.
sure. But
But
I just use that to illustrate, like, yeah, some
oh
people
yeah,
are here. I'm
yeah,
crazy.
no, I feel you on that.
They'll
I
call me and tell me when the funeral is, and I'll be like, "Wait, what? I saw her just last year."
yeah, well, that's like my my family. There will be things that happen, and like just no one tells me, and then
Yeah.
I hear they like mention it just off the cuff in a conversation, like 3 weeks later, Like my sister had gotten in a car accident and totaled her car. She was perfectly fine, but I didn't even know that there was an accident. My parents were like, "Oh yeah, Abiel's out car shopping for a new car," and I'm like, "What happened to the old one?" They're like,
Right.
"Oh, she got rear-ended and the car was totaled." I'm like, "Wait, what?" I was like, when did
Jeez.
this happen? They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, like 3 weeks ago." And I'm like, "Guys, what,
Out
why?"
of the loop.
Yeah. So my family, like we're a mix. There's some things that just don't get communicated, but
Right.
we'll do like general check-ins, see how things are going. And
That's good.
my dad will ask me, he's like, "Oh, so how are things?" I'm like, "I go to work and I come home.
Right.
Like, there's not much else I can do right now."
That's pretty funny.
Um,
Well, I don't know. Did I ever tell you when, like, right at the start of the quarantine, and I'm talking like the first like month and a half, 2 months, when the personal protection loans were being announced and all that kind of stuff. My dad was literally calling me every evening. I have not talked to this
so
man
weird.
that much in my whole fucking life. And then all of a sudden, a couple people have the sniffles, and he's just blowing up my line every night. How are you guys? Are you guys okay? Do you need anything? I said, Dad, we're fine.
We're
I'm
grown adults, Dad.
Yeah, like I'm
We're
sitting in the same chair that I was sitting in last night when you called. Guess what? I
yeah.
haven't left. Right? It was just like this an overexposure to my father that I don't even think he was ready for.
Yeah.
He didn't know what he was getting himself into, to the degree that like 3 weeks in of him calling me every single day, he eventually started to be like, "Well, I'm not sure if I'll call tomorrow. We'll see if he was the one that got out quick." I thought it was going to be me, like, "Hey, Dad, you don't have to call so much." And eventually he was like, "I don't think I'm going to call so much."
He's
I
like,
was like,
"You're fine. You've been fine every single day for the
yeah,
past
yeah,
3 weeks straight."
it was hilarious.
That's
God
really
bless the
funny.
guy. I appreciate it. And to be honest, I think to this day, me and him are closer because of it. And I'm happy
Yeah,
for that. I really am. It was just super,
that's so funny.
super uncomfortable. Like I've never talked to him that much in my whole life, right?
Yeah,
And he's just like, "Well, what are you guys up to?" What do you
that's
mean?
our family started doing like extended family Zoom calls,
Brutal.
like,
I'm
and
sorry.
I mean it was fine. It was fine for the most part, but it like I missed one relatively recently, like probably a couple weeks back. I
Aaron.
I know, brutal. I was spending time with people, catching up with people I hadn't seen in a bit, and I was
Yeah.
like, I won't make it. They're like, "Oh, we missed you." That's the. I'm like, "Oh, just even
Stab me in
though,
the heart, why don't you?
yeah." And it's like our family didn't do them before COVID, and so
Right.
we all were like, "Oh, wait, Zoom," or my parents were like, "Oh, Zoom? Let's get on a Zoom call." Like, all right, I'll be there. My my one cousin, she is hilarious, but she like was like side messaging me during the one because I was like sitting there drinking a beer. It was like a
Right.
Saturday afternoon. I'm just like having a beer in the thing, and most of my family doesn't drink very much, at least.
Right.
So she's like giving me a hard time. Just like, "What is that? That looks like this. That looks like this kind of IP." I'm like, no, it's not. But yeah, it's interesting.
That's good.
The pandemic has definitely changed some people.
Well, I mean, it's just changed things in general, right?
Yeah,
It's changed so
definitely.
much. I think overall for the better in my life anyway,
I think so for the most part.
you know. I can think of a decent amount of things that well, I'll tell you, one of the big things, and this kind of takes us back to our previous conversation about losing weight and getting to the gym and that kind of stuff. The biggest thing out of the pandemic, I think for us as a couple, me and Sarah, is we don't think about buying we don't think about buying already prepared food anymore. Where easily, maybe once or twice a week sometimes, it was just the easy option to like, oh, hey, let's just go to Moe's. Like, oh, let's grab Five Guys for dinner. Like, we like eating out, snacking. We like sushi. We like food, and that food's good, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I try and do that. Like, I try to limit that to like maybe once, twice a week. And it's usually like a Friday night and like a Saturday.
Right.
And the rest of the week I do also sometimes do like frozen stuff that I'm just heating up that I like got at the grocery store.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
But I have tried to make an effort to cook more because I do enjoy cooking. I just don't like how time consuming it is.
It's time consuming and it's like prep, cook, eat, dishes, and then put away the dishes, and then there's a lot that goes into like cooking your own meals. Thank God we don't have to tend the farms anymore.
True.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing that came out of it was just like we don't even think about Moe's anymore. We don't even really think about Pizza Hut anymore. We've cooked all our meals. We've learned all sorts of stuff. So I think that's been the biggest thing.
Cool.
Where we're not just like getting gouged for a fucking smoothie or whatever. I don't know.
Hey, well, one saves money. So
I can buy more Magic cards.
Always a good thing. Also, if you want my recipe for pizza dough, I'll send it over. You guys can make some homemade pizza.
Bro, you got to tell Sarah. Her pizza sucks.
It took me like 30 minutes to make the dough.
Right.
I let it like rest overnight. I just wrapped it in saran wrap, threw it in the fridge overnight. The next day, took it out, slapped some olive oil. I tried to make it like fancy pizza. Like I did
the whole, I can dig that.
I did I got like the ball of mozzarella and like cut that into slices and laid it out on top of it.
And then you got a margarita pizza.
Yeah, I got the basil leaves and everything.
Okay. Nice.
I went like I didn't do that shredded mozzarella like I'm not Papa John's.
Yeah, that Johnny New York, that's some bullshit.
No, I mean it's fine. I was just like, if I'm making homemade pizza, this is what I'm doing. I cooked up some bacon, slapped that on there.
Interesting. No, that sounds pretty good. But yeah, you'll have to get Sarah the dough recipe because she's made homemade pizza before and it tastes like chalk covered in tomato sauce.
Mine left the dough too thick in the middle of it. Okay. So like the crust was like the perfect thickness, but the whole pizza was like that same thickness kind of.
That's funny.
And so I was like eating like all this fluffy dough. I just
needed to deeper dish of pizza.
I just needed to squash the middle down, spread it out a little bit more.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah.
Did you do these? Did you do one of these?
Hell no.
Damn.
No, I'm not skilled like that. I can't be tossing pizzas.
So what, you just rolled it out?
Yeah, well, with my hands.
Oh, so you pressed it.
Yeah, basically.
Gotcha. I mean, I'm pretty seasoned in pizza making. I know all the different techniques.
I just spread it out. Felt like I was making a Lunchable.
Nice. Dude, I'm pretty sure those Lunchable pizzas, I'm pretty sure they're painted cardboard. And then they just give you slices of pepperoni to put on your cardboard, dude. They give you a packet of ketchup, pepperoni, and cardboard, and they call it a pizza.
I loved those back in the day.
I only love those because of the fucking
little candy bar.
Yeah, the Captain Crunch or whatever in the corner, Mr. Good Bar or whatever the fuck. Holy shit!
I mean, that's obviously the best part, but
it's literally 3 pounds of garbage in a candy bar.
Basically.
Oh my god.
Well, and if you think about it, I'm stealing this from plenty of other people, but the ham and cheese cracker things are like a child's charcuterie board.
Yeah.
You just have ham, cheese, and crackers, and it's like,
oh man.
meal.
I've had one or two pretty good charcuterie boards, I have to say. It's like an enjoyable little meal.
I like it.
You know, just like a little finger food. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Big fan. But you did say you'd save some money to spend on Magic cards. So I think you said you have some new cards coming. Is that correct?
Yeah. So hopefully they'll come in Saturday. But if I said that I saved up money for them, I was lying. I'll tell you the story. So I got $35 for Christmas from Sarah's parents, right?
Gotcha.
What can I get with $35? Literally, the world is my oyster. I could get whatever I want. I could get 100 cards at like 25 cents each, right?
You could get like 3 of the booster packs,
right? I could get
4.
3 like $10 singles, usually cards that are around $10. They tend to be pretty good power level. You know, they're right where you want. I could get just one $35 card, just like powerhouse, something that everybody wants. I could do that. I've got options, is what I'm saying.
So if you got like the 125-cent cards or whatever the math checks out to,
right?
Like, are they just random? Like, could they have good cards in them, or are they all just like basic cards?
That I will tell you and to all my viewers, grab bags, the random, like just some guy repacking a bunch of cards and sending them to you, that's always going to be a bad buy. I just mean like going on Card Kingdom and finding a bunch of singles that I would like for not a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
If you would buy just like the eBay, like, 1,000 cards for $25.
Well, I assume that they've taken all the good cards out
exactly.
and they're reselling those like individually.
Right. It'd be terrible.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I have options, but what I decided was I would like to get some good lands, some good mana cards for some of my decks. And if I have to put some money towards it, that's totally fine. So the first, and this is a little bit of foreshadowing for you. The first cart that I put together was like $44, right? And I was like, cool. I only have to throw about $9 to it. You know, I'll just put my credit card in, use my thing, and bang, I got some fresh new Magic cards.
Okay.
Hit order now. Boom. Thank you. Your order's been placed. I got a bad feeling in my gut. I was like, wait a minute. So I went and checked my bank account. Overdrafted by $19. I never clicked the use credit option. I never clicked the, hey, use my gift card thing.
Yeah.
But now what does that mean? I still have a $35 gift card and cards on the way. So I said, fuck it. I'll put together another order. What do I want? So I filled up my card again. And this time I said, use my gift card, good sir.
I was concerned.
No, I didn't do it twice in a row. I'd be a fucking idiot if that happened. But no, I used my gift card properly this time, and I only had to throw $2 to it. But yeah, so that was my card ordering, and I was like, "Fuck you, idiot!" But if you remember, I said at the beginning of the podcast that I'm working like a dog, so it doesn't even matter.
True.
I got it like that. But yeah, but hopefully those cards will be here on Saturday. I ordered my box of Kaldheim, so I've got a booster box coming. That's going to ship on February. I'm really excited for that set. I don't know any listeners out there playing Magic excited for the new set. Put it in the comments. What do you feel about Kaldheim? How do you like it? I'm super excited for it. I think some of the legendaries in it are really cool. Some of the mythics in it are pretty cool. And even just like the set lore and theme seem really cool, like Vikings, Norse type stuff going on.
Yeah. I just pulled it up on the magic.wizards.com.
Yeah, dude, and they do a great job with their promo pages. They really make it come to life.
Well, yeah, this is actually pretty awesome. Like the way that they have it set up, it's like very like easily accessible to like anyone, and they have it broken down by color type. That's awesome, actually.
Yeah, they give great entry points to players at really any skill level, so that's cool.
I'm
But yeah,
impressed.
Kaldheim coming up February 5th, so my box is on the way. But yeah, I'm really excited for those singles. I have my little list over there of the cards that are coming out for the cards that I just got.
Okay.
It's always very careful deliberations, because at this point, especially with the decks that are in my 9 for the play group, like they're tuned. That's how I want them. They've won games like that before, right?
So it would have to be like a very specific card to like want to
Right.
swap it in.
Right. And then it's like, okay, well, what effect do I get rid of to make a slot for that? Right. So it's always these very careful deliberations. And usually what'll happen is like my eyes are bigger than my stomach usually when I'm ordering cards. Sometimes I don't always know right where they're going, but I'm like, yeah, I want a copy of that. I'll figure it out later. Sometimes I do that, and then always in the week of shipping, it's the deliberation and looking at my list and like what can come out, what should come out, what doesn't fit, what doesn't work, what's too expensive, like mana cost wise. But yeah, it's always a process, man. Definitely. And even decks that I've had for like a good amount of time now, like Lord Windgrace, one of my very first decks. I bought it as a pre-constructed deck. It was one of the ones that like Wizard ships themselves. Commander deck. Even that just got a couple of cards taken out, couple of cards put in. Like it's constantly just up here. Like, what's going to be better for the curve? What plays better? It's always a process, tweaking and tuning.
Definitely. That's cool.
Yeah, man.
Did you guys get any more games in, or are you guys looking to have get things rolling again with the play group?
Yeah, we have we played some games on Saturday, and again, fucking Ian, man, like it's getting to the point where I get very concerned about the way I'm building my decks and then how to play against him.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he's winning everything. He's won 3 out of the 4 games that we've played. And it's just like, that's a lot, man. That's a lot.
Yeah. Well,
so,
but you did say, were you guys still like, I know you had said you were testing out some different things and like using decks that were not maybe like your best deck and all for these kinds of games. Is he just like using his best decks, or is it just like
that's all he has?
Oh, gotcha.
And that's part of my thing is Ian doesn't have the like on a scale of A to D, he doesn't have a D deck. He just has S's. He just has S plus decks. That's all.
Gotcha.
Right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't mind. I'm not saying he should have D decks.
It just makes it tougher if you're testing stuff out.
Right. Right. And it makes it very apparent what the ceiling of this new brew could be when he's just like, yeah, turn 7, cast this. Can you do anything? Y'all are dead. And it's just like, again. You know? I always feel like a turn and a half. If I just had half of a turn and 1 full more, that's always how far behind Ian I feel. Just a turn and a half. But in our format, like I know we've talked about before, our format is a 10-turn format.
So turn and a half is a decent chunk.
Right. It's a decent amount. That's like 3 seconds in F1. That's front of the pack, back of the pack, baby. You know? Yeah. So yeah, he's a true competitor, man.
Brings the best out of everyone.
It tends to. Yeah, I agree with that.
So cool.
But yeah, man, that's kind of the Magic update. I think we'll be getting more games in this weekend. I've been pushing into GroupMe to get back to the ranked games where we're actually like doing the pick and ban. So hopefully we'll get back to that this weekend, and I'll have a the first Commander 9 update of 2021, but until then, it's all tentative. But yeah, I'm excited to get back to it. I'm dying to play Najila, which is kind of where I'm at. I've been debating about, I know me and you talked about this. I haven't gotten on their server yet, but I've been debating getting on one of these Discord channels and just playing pickup games online with people. Because yeah, I miss it. I want to get back to it. I want to get back to that. I want to get back to playing pool. That's what I miss.
I look forward to being able to shoot pool again. That'll be a nice thing to be able to do. Because I was thinking, I'm like, well, like even if I could like drive down, visit you and Sarah and everything, and hang out, like, I mean, we could just chill and like shoot shit, play Magic and everything. But that's one of those like things that we would always do.
Oh, it's such a tradition at this point. Yeah,
we'd
find
go
a place to
shoot
play pool.
Yeah.
Dude, do you remember? And this is actually one of my fondest memories of finding that pool hall near where you lived in like DC, like Vermont area.
Where there was the first one that we went to that was the upstairs that they kicked us out.
Yes. They're like, you don't have the right clothes on to play here.
We needed a collared shirt to come in and shoot pool. And I'm like, what
favorite moment ever. But we look in and they were like all in like suit coats and shit.
Yeah.
What did we walk into? It was like
I've only ever played pool at like basically like dive bars.
Yeah, like in my jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And these dudes, it was literally a black tie event.
They were dressed to impress to shoot pool.
Fuck, dude. That was so funny. I was like, are you serious?
We just had to keep driving, find the next
Keep
spot.
it moving. Your kind is not welcome here.
Seriously. That was wild.
Against.
I had forgotten about that.
That's awesome. One of my favorite pool memories, dude. It was so funny. Like just four of us just floored. Like, wait, we can't play here?
Yeah.
Good times. But yeah. Yeah. I messaged Kevin. He was the team captain of my pool league. He said, not this session, but next session. We're going to be getting it on. So not spring, but summer. That sounds so far away now. It's 16 weeks. It's like 15 more weeks or whatever. Your mic's out.
Is it?
It was.
Okay.
Now I can.
That's a decent chunk of time.
Yeah, no, it's very long. I was just excited for him to be like, yeah, we're playing though. Because for the longest time it was nope, you just can't do it anymore. Unless you have one in your house, which I don't, but yeah.
Do not either. I am looking forward to just like on hobbies. I do need to get out and hit the mountain with my new snowboard sometime soon.
Ooh, there you go.
That
sounds nice.
I need to get my first runs of the year, and I'm a little behind.
What are the slopes like? Have you gotten any like mountain reports?
Decent, like Bear Creek.
It feels like it's a warm winter, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, like there have been some places that have been fine, and like I follow some places up further north, but obviously can't go there yet.
Have you ever been to like Killington or anywhere like that?
No, so that's the thing. So me and my roommate and my friend Shane we've had two different trips to Killington that we've had to cancel.
Yeah.
And so last spring was one. We were gonna go at the end of March, which I broke my collarbone, so I wasn't gonna be able to snowboard anyway. And then COVID hit like 2 weeks before we were supposed to go, and everything.
And I imagine the mountains closed down, right?
Yeah, so we couldn't go then, which was fortunate timing for me with my collarbone, but sucked in general because I would have still had a fun time hanging out up there. But then our second trip, we were planning to go the weekend before Thanksgiving because that's when Killington was opening.
Gotcha.
And then they announced that the first week was only for season pass holders because they wanted to gauge their like levels before letting in just like day passes and all.
Fucking yokels.
Exactly. but we had an Airbnb booked. We had to cancel, and like
Ooh,
we were ready to roll. Like we've been ready to head up there multiple times, and it just hasn't worked out. So
brutal. I'm sorry to hear that.
It happens. We'll get there, and then at some point we want to go out west and snowboard out like Park City or Vail or do something big like that. But
Damn.
we want to hit some of the bigger slopes on the East Coast before we start traveling.
Dude,
so
Vail, I know nothing about the mountain, but just like the name of it sounds so just like
bougie.
Fucking sick, dude. Yeah, we're going to Vail this weekend. Yeah, we're gonna hit the slopes at Vail. It just sounds so wicked.
Yeah, it. I think that would be
like
cool.
You need a super license to snowboard there.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That was just a bad tie-in. That's all.
Yeah, but would be interesting if you have to do like reach certain levels before they let you.
You get your what's that dude's name? Snow White. Is that the snowboarder? Snow White?
Shaun White?
Shaun White. There we go.
The
Snow White
tomato
with the dwarves. She had the dwarves. Okay.
She had the dwarves.
Yeah, can you imagine Shaun White like you have to reach Shaun White levels. You have to be this good to ride like a roller coaster.
That would be interesting.
I don't think you need a license, but I saw a video on YouTube of it was like a tunnel run on some mountain. It seemed like it was like on like some like in the Netherlands or whatever.
Okay.
But it like you go through the mountain to get to the like the double black diamond that they have. It's like on the other side of the mountain. Like everybody is over here, but you got to go through this like small tunnel this way and up the thing, and then you're over on this hit trail. Dude, the guy fucking nailed it. He looked like a well-seasoned fucking athlete. Okay. But it was like, oh God, oh man.
Call me paranoid, but I will not be going through any tunnels that go through a mountain that is covered in snow. I'm not like
good point.
If there were some sort of avalanche or something and I get trapped in a tunnel blocked on both ends by snow and I just have to sit there.
What's the idea though? Like can't you dig? Can't you dig? I feel like if you get trapped in an avalanche, you die of laziness. You're just like...
I don't know about that. I would imagine that usually it's like broken bones from heavy snow.
Not if you're in the tunnel, dude.
Not if you're in the tunnel.
You're nice and warm. And you just choose not to leave.
Or maybe not warm. You're basically in a refrigerator.
That's true. I don't know. Compared to covered in snow, I think you'd be relatively warm.
But also, if I was going any of those places, I would 100% be one of the people wearing the like avalanche backpack that like inflates if there's an avalanche. It like carries you to the top like water.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's basically like an airbag that like it floats you to the top of like the snow piling and everything, kind of as if it were like it's
that sounds like a superpower.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
You'll have to look it up. It's it's crazy.
What do I call something like that? What is that?
I'll find one. I'll link it to you. But we can do that after the episode after we wrap. So
fuck, that's so cool. Okay, I mean, I'd wear one of those if I had it. Yeah, that seems safe. But okay, realistically, the Saint Bernard comes and digs you out. Just dig yourself out.
Oh, I mean, that would be the plan. Like
crazy. Broken bones.
Well, if you not if you're in the tunnel, but if you get hit by a giant pile of snow and you're getting tossed around,
it just like yams you into a tree. Sure. Yeah. I guess that would be liable to happen. You probably hit a bunch of trees on the way down.
Most likely.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
But yeah, so that's something that I'm looking forward to getting back to soon.
Yeah, there you go. No, that's Dude, every time you talk about it, I get excited.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fun activity.
The two of us still need to get out and hit the slopes together. So we'll have to do that sometime.
Coming with warm weather as well. Hopefully we can, or I guess edging into the colder weather eventually. Backpacking trip.
Yes.
Because now we're well-seasoned campers, all of us.
Yep. I'm excited for that too. So
yeah, it's good shit, man.
We've got plans. COVID is just delaying them, but
man. Fuck this guy.
Once we get out of it, we're gonna be just doing something every weekend.
We're just doing things, man. That's us.
Guys doing things.
Do you remember? That's the name of a podcast that doesn't exist yet. Guys doing things. That should be our second podcast.
I feel like
this one just make about F1, just do like an hour on F1 and then record our Guys Doing Things podcast.
That just hits
like I'll just like hold a drill or something. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go put together a cabinet after this. Do you think I've ever put together a cabinet?
Probably not. Maybe in woodshop in Mr. Less's class.
I haven't, but I love the fact that you thought about it. You were like, he's an eccentric guy.
I know you took woodshop back in the day.
Yeah, but I had Mr. Less. Yeah, you think I did anything in that shit?
I mean, I took it too. I had fun. I built a clock.
He was a good dude. Yeah, I don't think I ever finished that clock. That's okay, though.
That's fine.
Damn. Now I know why I don't know how to tell time.
You just need digital clocks.
I need digital clock because I never finished that analog one.
You never finished building the analog one.
Fuck.
You can always go back, man.
Can always go back. That's me, Billy Madison. Is that the movie that he did it in where he went back? Good. I hit that fucking reference on the head.
Out of the park.
But yeah, man, we're going way over.
I know. But yeah, so I guess we can wrap here. I hope everyone enjoyed. Also, sorry we didn't hit LCS topics. The tournament here at the start of the year, they're doing their placement round robins, and then they'll be getting into that. So
the only teams that matter: Cloud9 2-1, TSM 2-1. There you go. You got our coverage.
So we'll give you guys some more coverage a little later on. But yeah, anything else you want to hit?
Nope. That's awesome. It for me, man. That's all I had.
Beautiful. So thanks everyone for tuning in to listen. Again, you can find us on youtube.com now. It's the tall and the short of it. If you just search that in the bar, you'll find us. We're still on anchor.fm /tall and short of it. And we're also still on Twitter, tall and short of 1. So the number 1. So hit us up. Looking forward to hearing from more of our viewers. But yeah, we'll catch you guys next time. That's been the tall and short of it, everybody. Peace out.